I'm Abhisar Singh from InspiredByDreams Foundation. And today we have a very special changemaker with us, Dr. Anupam Kamal from Ishwar NGO. Ishwar NGO is a non-profit, non-political social organization involved with developmental activities throughout the society, with its primary focus on children, women, and young adults belonging to the underprivileged sections of the society or those who are specially abled. Ishwar is also an acronym for inclusion and social harmony with attitude reconstruction. So, thank you very much for taking out time from your busy schedule for talking with us.
Thank you.
So, starting with the most important question, what was the motivation behind this organizational setup?
So we got an opportunity to take up Ishwar about 19 years ago. And we thought that, yes, we could work together in a better way if we come together on a common platform rather than randomly working with different organizations. So that is the time when we took over Ishwar NGO. Now, Ishwar NGO was already registered in 2002, but it was not able to function properly because lack of time by the then board members. So they, kind of requested us to take over the NGO because it was already registered, and we could, actually save our efforts in getting it registered and getting all the permissions and everything. So that was how we took it up. And we started off from there in 2004. And this particular center that we run now in Sarai of New Delhi was set up in 2005.
So you have been doing this for like past 40 years and with
personally, I've been doing social and community work for about 40 years. And I have an honorary doctorate in social work because of my, service to humanity. All the members of the board on Ishwar are all people who have a proven record of social work, and service to society. So they all are in their respective businesses and professions, but they all have also shown their contribution towards helping the society, particularly the poor and the underprivileged.
That's very fantastic, sir, and very good to hear that like you have been in this field for over 40 years and with this specific organization for more like for 2 decades now. But yeah, moving to my second question, sir, what sort of challenges did you face during the COVID, period, and like going through that? We saw many organizations lose their funding or had to downscale it a little bit because of not getting a lot of activity during this period.
So we were fortunate that we had funds which we could utilize in COVID because we don't have any overhead expenses in the NGO. We don't have swanky offices. We don't have air-conditioned, administrative blocks and stuff and a fleet of cars and everything. We all work from home in a way, and we don't have any funds that are given out as salaries or honorariums to the board members or anybody who's not a beneficiary, except the staff, of course. So we had these funds available. And during COVID, we were at an advantage because we had these funds which we could utilize into, helping the poor and underprivileged. Now, if you would have seen our website, we had nearly about 200, 250 children who were coming to us from the backward sections of society. And the biggest challenge was basically twofold. One, that many of us ourselves were infected with COVID and we were down ourselves, which was a problem because then we could not devote the focused effort that we could have done to the poor. And the second part was communicating because we were under lockdown and it was difficult to communicate. And if you have seen our website, we deal with people who are in the lowest rung of society. And they do not have internet access or they don't have smartphones. So it was difficult to communicate, whatever efforts we could make to get to them and to understand who needs what. So what we did was to send out, in fact, it was again a challenge to even ask the staff of the NGO to go out and reach out to the people physically. So whenever the lockdown permitted us, our staff went door to door, because we had the addresses of all our children. And we saw for ourselves what hardships they were facing. Because, these beneficiaries, the children and all, their parents are all laborers or very, very
Yeah.
poor people, or they are basically fruit sellers, vegetable sellers. And due to the lockdown, they did not have any money with them. So we did not distribute any cash, but we did distribute dry rations for 15 days to 1 month based on the need of each family. So then we, made an effort to inspire them to take internet connections and to buy even cheap smartphones so that we could communicate with them on Zoom calls. We made this effort to get them connected over Zoom calls, and so that we could convey what we wanted to do. And then also, as the lockdown permitted, we then started distributing even sanitizers, masks. And the biggest thing that we could do after these children were motivated to take up internet connections was to tell them about social distancing and how to prevent the disease in the first place. So this was an effort that required a lot of work from our staff, particularly because our staff is based in the same area where the NGO is. And all the children also come from the neighboring slums and the areas around that place. So then we were able to convey to them and then tell the children how to take preventive measures and save themselves, protect themselves from the problems of COVID. So it was challenging, but we had the funds, we had the will to do it. And although we ourselves were down with COVID, but even many of our staff members were down with COVID. But then whatever best we could do, we still went ahead and did this. So we had several families whom we supported with food and this thing. We did not distribute any money.
That's very nice to hear that even during COVID, your operations did not stop, but you found different ways in a way, to keep it going and to reach out to, like you said, underprivileged sections of society, and not only to reach out to them and help them, with your what your NGO works on, with education, welfare, and all, but to also, help them with especially the disease going on, because that was a very important part of society that was impacted a lot, the underprivileged section, because of COVID. So that's very good to hear that, sir. And my next question is, what are your future plans with the NGO? And uh, you're the general secretary of the NCR region. Like, how do you plan to take it to the next level?
Instead of expanding and opening more centers, we are basically concentrating on what we have and ensuring that the ones that we touch already, the children, they are perfected to the highest possible level, which means that facilities being provided to them. I mean, we treat our children like our own children. So these 250 children that we have, they are like our own children. And we provide all these facilities. We take them out for sports, we take them out for educational trips, to museums, to science centers, and we make sure that they get the best of education holistically. So instead of expanding, I think at the moment we are focusing on providing the best opportunities for our underprivileged children. Many of our children have now even reached college, because it's been about 19, 20 years. They have passed school.
Yeah.
Many of them are in college as well, and to keep supporting them. So we are not looking to basically enhance our status in a way, or maybe our footprint in other parts of India, where it will be a difficult, proposition to maintain the centers logistics wise and quality monitoring. So I think for the moment we are concentrating here. Secondly, it's also about funds, because we just have adequate funds to run one center at the moment. But I think we started with only 40 children, and today we have more than 250. So we are recognized that way, and we have help. But at the moment, we are concentrating on Delhi NCR only.
Okay. And I also saw on your website that it says that you have impacted around or changed around 16,500 lives. So right now you
Yes.
have 250 children, but throughout your 20 years, you have impacted the society in a major way and changed a lot of lives. So we are obviously grateful for that, sir.
It's not
And
only children that we touch. The 16,500 figure includes the young adults, the adolescent girls, because we also run vocational training courses for the girls who are out of school but without a job.
um,
So yeah, so collectively, if you see, that is how we come up to that figure.
yeah, and like in your site, like your organization runs various programs, from even like to small children to like you also run computer courses for like 7 year olds to help them get up better with the technology so they can compete. And again, your slogan, giving them equality amongst in this tech friendly world, basically.
That is true.
So
Computer education is compulsory for all children. So any child who is enrolled with our NGO, as soon as he reaches class 10, or rather by the time he reaches class 10, he's already computer literate.
that's very good to hear, sir. And my last question to you would be, how do you hire volunteers, or if there are any people watching this, like how do they contact you and basically volunteer in your organization to change the society or help the organization at the best?
So we are registered with many educational institutes, colleges, schools, and we are on their panel. And social service and community service is part of the curriculum for secondary and senior secondary level students. So we get requests from there, and we have a section on our website under volunteering. So we see instead of actually teaching the school curriculum, we encourage them to go in for other skills, because we already have teachers who are already teaching the school curriculum. So I particularly look for volunteers who have other skills. Some are good in singing, some are good in dramatics, some are good in doing experimentation, science experiments. So these kind of skills are lacking in the normal course of education, and we look for such volunteers who can contribute in these areas. Of course, teaching is one option, but then the school syllabus is already being taught, so we don't want
Yeah.
multiplicity of the same syllabus. So that is there, and we welcome all volunteers with open arms. We give them all the facilities. Of course, there is no payment made out, but then other than that, all facilities that they require, as per whatever they are, the field of activity that they want to involve themselves in, we will help them, or rather, we do help them. And there is a lot of word of mouth, and even the corporates who donate to us, their staff members, they also come and they volunteer. So the word kind of spreads. So today we really don't have to advertise anything for this thing. I mean, it's kind of running on its own. People keep coming, they keep volunteering with us. Many organizations are with us. Rotary Club, for instance, Lions Club, for instance.
Yeah.
They conduct camps with us. So it's all multifaceted kind of environment. Wherever whoever wants to contribute to the poor sections of society, we facilitate that process. So we accommodate, we give them the right kind of children, the right age groups, the right kind of activity that can be performed, and give them that opportunity to fulfill their desire of volunteering. So it's a focus area for us, and the more we allow people to volunteer with us, the more the word spreads about the need for compassion for the poor, and the importance of educating the underprivileged sections, because they don't get those opportunities.
Yeah.
And my message particularly to everybody would be that they should come and visit us to see what poverty entails, because what we see is basically urban poverty, and urban poverty is not the true poverty that actually manifests itself in the rural areas, and for the really poor, because the really poor ones don't reach you.
Yeah.
They are not
100%.
able to reach you. And in our urban lifestyle, and our urban places where we live, we are not able to really understand what poverty means actually. and particularly the girl child. So education of the girl child is a very, very big focus area, because one uneducated girl leads to an uneducated family usually, because the mother is uneducated, and she is the one who will have that initiative to make her children educated and send them to school and stuff. So anywhere where people have a desire to contribute in society, and I believe that it is our duty to give back to society, because we are well off and we are able to manage for ourselves. A little bit of obligation rests on us also, that we should be able to, rather we should have that inclination to give back to society in whatever way. I'm not saying money donations, I'm saying in kind, in effort, in suggestions, in any way possible, but some effort should be there for this thing. And this ultimately leads to nation building. So it's basically a patriotic duty to build your nation, and you can build your nation only when the poor, underprivileged people are empowered, and they can earn for themselves, and they can carry on living their lives with dignity. So that is
Yeah, they have the same. Yeah, they have the same opportunities as like anyone in the country.
Giving equal opportunity to children is another this thing. I mean, this should be a very compassionate and a very important thing close to your heart. That children are children. They are born into a poor family. That's not their fault, and we should make that effort to give them that opportunity to grow, to flourish. With the right focus on education, on play, on their extracurricular activities, on other avenues where, I mean, it's love and affection basically that they require. So they shouldn't be considered as outcasts and oh, they are poor, and you don't need to consider them at all. No, that is not patriotism, and that is not nation building. So we believe that, rather my message would be that everybody should be compassionate towards the poor, and should contribute in whatever way possible, not monetarily necessarily, but in any other way possible for nation building.
So thank you very much for sharing your story with us. And we wish you all the best. And we know that this Ishwar NGO has been going on for like 2 decades now, and it only has a way to go up. It still has a very long way to go. And we'll be coming up with, much more such conversations with such change makers. So stay tuned. Also, don't forget to share this with your friends and family members. Thank you very much. This is me, Abasar Singh. And thank you very much from me and the entire team of Inspired Dreams Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for covering the work of the NGO.
Yes, sir. It's like a basic civic duty, sir. Yeah.